Welcome to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, our scrappy, pugnacious sports podcast where we always go off topic. So, Major League Baseball. We need this Kleenex for two very different reasons. I'm wiping away the tears. Oh my God. Oh my God.
How about them Dodgers?
So close.
Yeah.
So I want to say something. Give me the single camera here. So
All right.
I had something written down, and I wrote this down. I forgot my notes, but no big deal. So I want to congratulate the LA Dodgers on an epic win on a World Series playoff that is was one for the ages. It'll be another generation before we see a playoff run, 7 games like the one we witnessed between Toronto and LA. But I also want to thank the LA Dodgers. Thanks to the LA Dodgers, my team, the Toronto Blue Jays, got showcased. 30 million people between Canada, the US, and Japan tuned in to watch that game. And the reason so many people watched is because the LA Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani. That's it. When he was with the Angels, they did not get that kind of props, those kind of numbers. The Dodgers and the Yankees are the only two global brands in MLB. They're in Manchester, you're living in England, you've heard of those two teams. You're living in LA, New York, you've heard of Liverpool and Manchester, right? And to get that global player that Shohei is, it means whoever gets to play against the Dodgers gets their props. They get a little bit of time in the sun. And if Milwaukee had beaten LA by fluke, nobody would care about this series. Yeah. We would not be talking about it. In 92-93, the Jays won back-to-back World Series. Nobody outside those two cities really paid that much attention. It wasn't a big deal. The ratings, World Series ratings, were the lowest in history. This World Series meant that my team got showcased, and I am forever grateful to the LA Dodgers for allowing that to happen. Jim Rome and Dan Patrick, two of the biggest names in sports broadcasting, gave my team props for games 4 and 5 when they bounced back after that 18-inning loss. Rich Ensign brought it up a little bit and then didn't talk about it again. He'll talk about the win, and that's to his detriment because, he had Buster Onley on a show talking about Shohei, and then, Paul Skeens, the red-hot pitcher out of Pittsburgh, and what his new contract's going to look like. Nobody cares. Yeah. People were talking about this series. 30 million people got to see a 22-year-old kid from Pennsylvania strike out 12 guys and walk 0 against Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
That was incredible. Guys, people are going to show up at Jays games on the road and in Toronto wanting to see this just savage kid.
Yeah.
He's going to sell a lot of jerseys. He had the minor league contract, made $60,000 this year, gets a $100,000 bonus. Will make $700,000 next year and $1.5 million in jersey sales. The people are going to get you Savage jerseys like crazy. People tuned in to see Vladdy be Vladdy.
Great.
Unbelievable. Ernie Clement, 30 straight hits, a new Major League Baseball record with some fielding that was just wrong. Him and Vladdy made some plays in that infield that were just unbelievable. So thank you to the LA Dodgers. They won that series fair and square. 11 innings, Game 7. You cannot ask for anything more. And it was just an unbelievable series. Heartbreaking as a Toronto fan. But, I'm going to borrow from John Schneider. Thank you. Thank you for a whole season. If you had told me in May that this team was going to go 7 innings, 7 games, 11 innings against the LA Dodgers in the World Series, I would have said, no way. You were nuts. It's never going to happen. And there's a lot of things that have happened in Toronto coming in the offseason. The biggest one, of course, is Bo Bichette.
Yeah.
Do they sign him? He's got a wonky knee. It's going to cost a lot of money. There's a lot of teams out there with a lot of money would love to have a Bo Bichette, but they have to sign him because you got Ernie Clement, Gold Glove candidate at third. Bo normally is a shortstop and could play second base, and then you've got Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a Gold Glover at first. That's an infield that makes everybody else drool. They do things in that infield that are crazy. And then they got a good outfield, and there's some pitching issues. Gosman's back for another year. Bassett wants to come back. He's 36. Shane Bieber, there's an option he could take. He could go to L.A. because Clayton Kershaw's not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Eric Lauer, in the bullpen for the postseason, was great starter as a lefty. He's cheap. He's 30 years old. He's young, coming into his prime. But thank you very much for my Toronto Blue Jays. And thank you very much for the LA Dodgers, because the world now knows what Toronto can do. And they have a building block for next year. We'll see against a team that was just a powerhouse that built to win. So thank you very much. I'll hand it to you.
Before I gloat about the Dodgers win, I'm gonna echo those statements and say thank you to the Blue Jays. They put up such a fight in this series that showed you that it's not about the dollars, it's about the heart.
Oh.
And every man on that roster, from top to bottom, has a story that is heart. You got Vladdy, who has been one of the best players in the game for a lot of years.
Yeah, his contract, I'm going to interrupt, this $500,000 contract kicks in next season. Officially, he was on test this year.
Yeah.
And he just proved that he was worth every dime. Every dime.
But you think of Vladdy, you think of his hitting. He's a very powerful hitter. He's the best hitter in the series by leaps and bounds. The home runs and the at-bats and the getting on base and making things happen. He was fabulous. His defense was on showcase. And I did not realize how good of a defender he is. You flip to the other side, you got Ernie Clement playing that third base line like he's got to protect it. And he was phenomenal down there. You talk about Noah Lucas, 10 years in the minors. He said it at the beginning of this year when he started in AAA that if I don't get my break this year, I'm retiring. I'm done. He played in Game 7 last night as the second hitter behind George Springer. You talk about Savage. This kid started in Single A in May and played every division coming through. The stories that are there, the Bo Bichette and the bad knee, but he gets out there to play anyways. George Springer, you saw him on screen, probably tear an oblique muscle that's going to be healing all offseason. Came back out because his team needed him. You see Alexander Kirk just be the rock that they needed to stand up behind are on, right? I mean, it was crazy. And then my favorite, Addison Barger. I have become a huge Barger fan. He protects the plate like it's his mother. He's got his bat out there, and he's just whipping away balls until he gets something to hit. He hit nearly 500 for the series. 500.
And then made those catches.
And the catches were great, too. The defense was fabulous. Yeah. Varsho, with that diving catch last night, I mean, he committed to that ball harder than a marriage. And if that goes by him, that's 3 runs. But he committed to it and made that play. I mean, the cannon on Barger from right field made sure you stopped at second because you weren't getting picked off at third by that. It was crazy how good. But Barger got the first pitch hit grand slam in Major League history.
Yeah.
In World Series history. Pitch hit grand slam World Series history.
Against the Dodgers.
Against the Dodgers, who are just this powerhouse. Everybody talks about the payroll, but you look at the chemistry between these players. For the last 13 years, they've been building this monster. And I tell you, I've felt the Blue Jays pain for over the last 13 years. I've been there. I've been in those elimination games where everything's on the line and it just doesn't go your way. And, you want to cry, you want to scream. I've been there. Now, Blue Jays, thank you.
Yeah.
I really, I did not see this coming. My whole thing in April was to talk about how bad the Blue Jays were to trigger Tim. That was just kind of entertaining, right?
It worked.
And then they started going. And I was playing devil's advocate to Tim, complaining about the team. And I started getting behind the team, and I was enjoying it. I tell you, any other team is up there against the Blue Jays, and I'm going out to buy a Blue Jay hat and a Blue Jay shirt.
Good luck finding one.
My wife tried; she couldn't.
You can't find them anywhere.
But the Blue Jays did something in Canada that I really, really appreciated, is that they brought attention to Major League Baseball in Canada.
Yeah.
People that never watched baseball were watching, and not just watching because it was on in a bar or on in somebody's house. My wife sat at home one night and watched Game 1 by herself because it was so much. emotion and so much. And a lot of people are going to Canada versus U.S. I don't see it. Leave politics out of my sports, please.
Yeah.
Leave politics out of my sports. It was the best team in the American League against the best team in the National League, and it was a phenomenal series. I've watched every World Series for the last 40-plus years, and that one there will be one of the top three.
Oh, yeah.
I think forevermore.
2001, Arizona. Look how close that is. That's
crazy.
IKF's foot so close to winning that game. Like, it was unreal.
How tight it was.
And Pages makes that catch in center field, tripping up with Kiki Hernandez. He doesn't make that catch. The game's over. Yeah. The game is over. The other game with the ball wedge, that was game 6. If the ball hits the wall and bounces, it was still a double.
Yeah.
They could have won the game, but they didn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Like everybody's like, oh, if the ball doesn't get wedged, then Barger gets the inside the park home run. No, it would have been played.
It would have been a second. You would have gone to second base.
And you're down. It's a tight game.
3-1.
3-1, and you're not sending that guy from third either if that ball's getting played.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting him out at home. You need and there's nobody out. You got those two on
second
base.
and third. And we have to remember the Jays were second and third with nobody out, down 2 runs.
Yeah.
And they could have won that game. They did. They had the bases loaded on Saturday, and they got nothing in. They had Vladdy sitting at third base with 1 out in the 11th inning, and they couldn't do it. Yeah. So, we had Jeff Hoffman up there that has taken responsibility for that loss, which is totally unfair because it's a whole team. I mean, I appreciate what he's doing, and I respect that, but it's not his fault. It's not the pitcher's fault. The whole team could have won, and they didn't. But, I mean, that game had everything. The crazy defense, a fight nearly broke out. I mean, crazy. I mean, it had,
of the World
it
Series.
had everything. Like, it's just, you couldn't ask for anything more other than your team winning, which they just couldn't do. And they got beat by a better team. No one expected Toronto in there. No one expected Toronto. I mean, they won first overall in the American League. They had the best record in Major League Baseball. But people are like, well, it's the regular season. No. And, they take care of the Yankees. Well, they've always played well against the Yankees.
Yeah.
And then they walk it off against Seattle, and people are like,
crazy. Wow,
that was amazing. Oh, but they have to beat the Dodgers. And we have a graphic. Do you have the Simpsons one, Wayne, that you can bring up that I sent you? Everybody thought it was going to be a walk for the Dodgers.
Yep.
And the Jays pound them in game 1, lose to Yamamoto game 2. Epic game. They could have won in game 3. Jays could have won if Jays had won that game. If the series is over in 5 games.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers being the Dodgers, they figured it out. They won it, and the Jays come back hard. 2 hard wins. Games
4 and 5.
4 and 5. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's when Jim Rome took notice. That's when Rich Henson took notice. That's when Dan Patrick took notice. They don't care about Toronto. They never talk about Toronto. Yeah. They might mention the Raptors once in a while, but that's it, right?
Yeah.
I was listening to Jim Rome decades ago on sports radio, and somebody convinced him to do hockey. Here it is. Say the line, Dodgers in 5. And everyone's got their,
Everybody's laughing.
Everyone's laughing, right? I was going to play that because I thought they're going to win, but whatever. But it speaks to how amazing that series was. And Jim Rome, he had... someone convinced him, and one of his producers, let's do a hockey segment for his call-in show. And he didn't want to do it. And so they got a scout on from like the, Ottawa Senators, and the phone lines just kept ringing. And he was like, okay, you know what? I didn't want to do this because I didn't think anyone was going to call, but we've got a whole switchboard lit up here. We could do this another hour. Okay. Hey, Bob from Edmonton, what's up, buddy? And the conversations were going back and forth, and Rome couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suddenly he sort of took notice. But, he stands up and goes, I cannot believe this Jays team in game 5. Like, that was incredible. Like, what a powerhouse team. Their offense is unbelievable, and the infield is unreal. Even Dan Patrick was talking about it. He doesn't care about Toronto. Why would he?
Well, and here's the thing.
And so it's just, I can't thank the Dodgers enough for letting my team get showcased. Because that's really what happened here.
100%. 100%. And here's the thing is, back in April, Tim was upset with the Dodgers. He was fire the coach, fire the GM, get somebody in there. We need this. We need that.
The Dodgers.
Or the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, yeah.
He was down on the Blue Jays. And I'm looking at this team going, on paper, this team's not bad.
They weren't. That was what's frustrating is that they underachieved for two or three seasons.
Yeah.
They finished dead last in the division last year. One game, they left 13 guys on base in one game last year. So I'm like, God, come on. And all of a sudden, the offense clicked.
Yeah.
Because you commented, you watched them last season because their defense is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're not getting any runs in. Like, it was so frustrating. And something clicked this year.
They started stringing together runs.
They did. And then even when the playoffs started, you're looking at the matchups. He goes, you'll probably get through the AL okay, but I just don't think you're going to beat anybody from the NL.
Yeah.
And God love them. They almost did it. One catch from Pages, one catch.
Yeah.
He doesn't make that catch. This is a very different script here.
Oh, 100%.
We're using the Kleenex for two different things. So, yeah.
Well, and you know what the funny part was?
And now I got my hockey team that's 9-3. Demidov is a machine. Cole Caulfield is bringing it. So I've got something else to cheer for.
And I sat there last night. It was the bottom of the eighth. It was over, and it was coming up to the ninth. And I'm like, well, we got one last shot, boys. But if we lose, we lost to a team that played with the heart of champions, right? And I was sitting there, and we're in the bottom of the order, right? We got the eight hitter gets out, and I'm like, oh, two more options, and I got Miguel Rojas. 36-year-old Miguel Rojas is
utility
on the
infielder.
He wasn't even on the roster for some of the games in the World Series. Didn't play the first 5 games, and it was because of the 9-hitter Pages and Call were having such trouble. Dave Roberts was saying, "What am I going to do?" And he's like, "I'm going to put Miggy out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Miggy out there." And in Game 6, he made that beautiful catch at second base, that scoop out. To get the double play to end the game there so that they did win. And then he comes up and then he's 1 out, top of the ninth, down by 1. And he doesn't hit home runs. The thing squeaked over the fence with the barest of margins.
Oh.
I don't know who was more shocked, him or us, that it happened.
Yeah.
And you got Ohtani coming up next.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Rojas, hurry up and get out, and or get on base.
Yeah.
And then we can have Ohtani come up and see if Ohtani can,
walk it off.
Just get out of the way for Shohei. And he cranks it over the fence. Tie game. Ohtani goes out, right? Will Smith goes out. That's it.
Yeah.
Smitty
is a silent killer.
Oh.
People talk on the Dodgers. Freeman, Betts, Shohei, and Clayton Kershaw are locks for first ballot Hall of Famer. Will Smith will get very hard consideration. He won't get in his first year, but he'll get second or third.
Yeah.
Or the Veterans Committee will put him in.
Yeah.
He's the silent killer. And that home run last night cements his legacy.
Well, I mean, we can get to that in a second here.
Yeah.
But the Dodgers came out last night, and they wanted to go with Shohei as the pitcher. I thought this was a bad idea. I thought Glasnow should have been the guy that went in last night with Shohei able to back him up, right? But they went with Shohei. He did not look good.
No.
He gave up that big hit to Bichette for the 3 runs. He did not look good at all. He came out early. And now all of a sudden you've got to worry about how you're going to manage this, right? And they brought Sheehan in, and he did good. And then Glasnow goes out there because he only threw 3 pitches in to end Game 6. I mean, he goes into Game 6 with nobody out,
and Robleski too.
Oh yeah, Robleski was the first one out. Right?
Yeah, and he hits Jimenez in the hand, and then the fight nearly breaks out. And it's like that. The game just had everything.
Brawl in Game 7 of the World Series,
and and Buck
Nobody
Martinez.
Threw a pitch. Nobody threw a pitch. A punch.
And Buck Martinez, the refs, the umps did their job.
Yeah.
Both benches got warnings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And of course, Buck Martinez was like, don't do that. Just let them play. Because, and my dad's like, ooh, this is fun. My father growing up watching hockey in Verdun. Like,
well, you're listening to Joe Davis and John Smoltz. And as the benches are cleared, and he's like, oh, and here comes the most pointless endeavor. The bullpens have emptied. And Clay Kershaw today, he goes, I'm tired. He goes, I had to run out for the fight, then I had to run out again when we won. I haven't run that way for a long time, because he's never out in the bullpen.
My money was on Ernie Clement. He grew up playing hockey in Rochester.
Yeah,
if someone said the wrong thing to Ernie, they're gonna
jerseys coming over the head.
But anyway,
nobody
got hurt.
So you get Shohei out there. Wroblewski gets out there, and this guy here is a young guy who's got a great career as a middle reliever ahead of him. He pitches. Glasnow comes out, does what he has to do. Blake Snell comes out, and then
Ernie scored. Went up 4-2.
Ernie scored, but and then Mad Max, our Mad Max, not your Mad Max,
Muncie
puts one over the fence off of Bassett.
Maybe Bassett, yeah.
Maybe Bassett, I think it was Bassett. Yeah. Oh, no, Yasavage. It was off of Yasavage.
Oh, Yasavage gave it.
Yeah, that Chase Yasavage, yeah. Puts one over the fence. We get into late innings. Miggy hits one out. And then the starter from Game 6 the day before, Yoshiro Yamamoto, comes in and just mows him down. And I mean, and not convincingly, because the bases got loaded twice.
Yeah.
There was runners on.
Yeah.
He was walking players. They were getting hits off him.
But he didn't let them. He bent, but he didn't break.
Yeah. And then Will Smith gets up there.
Smitty.
Oh,
I hate him.
Will Smith. There has been a Will Smith to win the World Series for the last 6 consecutive.
Stop talking.
My Will Smith 3 times and the other Will Smith 3 times. They're even now. So it was 3 different teams for the other Will Smith. My guy's up at all the Dodgers. Oh. So, but that's Wayne. Can we go to my screen for a sec here? Let's talk about some of the stuff that we saw here in this series. Because as much as I'm happy that the Dodgers won, I was more happy. I said it last week, is I want 7 games, 15 innings. And I mean, they didn't make it to the 15, but 11's good enough. I will take that.
I couldn't take it anymore. It had to end. I'm really sad it ended the way it did, but I'm just so glad it's over because I didn't do anything else.
So you look at this here. These are the things. First, this World Series was the first to feature all this. A pitch hit grand slam.
Crazy. 2
extra inning games. 18 innings in Game 3, 11 innings in Game 7. 2 extra inning homers. Freeman and Smith. Both the winning hits. Yeah. A walk-off homer with Freeman. 7-4 double play. That's or left field to second base to end a game. Back-to-back homers to lead off a game when you had David Sanchez or
David Schneider and Vladdy.
Yeah. First 12 strike, 0 walk game pitched in a World Series.
By a 22-year-old kid.
A player
making $57,000 a year.
A player reached base 9 times in 1 game. Yeah. A game-tying 9th inning home run that flipped the World Series. First time ever any of this stuff happened.
Complete game by Yamamoto.
You had 2 hitters on the Jays that hit over 400 for the series, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You had...
almost 3 if you bring in Addison Barger. Ernie
Barger did. Ernie and Addison did it.
And Vladdy was over 300.
No, he was 390.
390.
So
okay.
Close.
You're close,
yeah.
But you had Ernie Clement, 30 hits, consecutive hits.
Not consecutive, 30 in the postseason.
30 hits in the postseason. That's the record.
Yeah.
And Vladdy's tied for second with Randy Rosarena with 28 or 29.
Yeah, like right there.
So, I mean, the offense was there. The defense was there. It had everything.
Everything.
And, everyone's going to be talking about the Dodgers for a couple of days or weeks after this. The Jays are going to fall off.
Wait.
But I'm going to tell you, when the Jays go on the road next season, people are going to show up in visiting parks to watch the Jays.
Yeah.
They want to see this Vladdy guy. They want to see this Savage kid. They like this Ernie Clement guy. This is really good. This is really good. Marketing-wise, you kind of want to lose consecutively before you win.
Yeah.
Because when you win, the bloom kind of falls off the rose.
Yeah.
LA, not so much, because they're an institution. The celebrities go. People like to go, blah, 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 blah. But with Toronto, I mean, they clinched in 85, won at 92, 93. The strike happened, but people sort of stopped paying attention a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is actually good because they're going to get like 20,000 season ticket applications easy coming for next season. Like people are already going to be ordering up their season tickets. So it's good for the Jays.
2 things that happened this year that I think that really need to be recognized. It was the first season ever that the Major League Baseball season started and ended not on U.S. soil.
That's crazy. Tokyo?
It started in Tokyo. It ended in Canada.
Yeah.
The Dodgers played in Tokyo. They finished it in Canada. It was a phenomenal season for the Dodgers. I like. We could talk about the Dodgers.
Dodgers were out of it, and they put it together in September.
Yeah. They weren't out of it. They're still winning their division.
But they were just had terrible injury problems.
Injuries like mad. Everybody started getting healthy. They got on a roll.
September, they brought it in. Under the old rules, without the wild card in the division series, they wouldn't even been in the playoffs.
Yep, 100%.
If I was Mark Shapiro and Rogers Jr., whatever the hell his name is, I would have ran over to Rob Manfred, MLB commissioner last night, said, we want to start the season against the Dodgers in Tokyo.
That'd be cool.
That'd be the smartest thing they could do.
100%.
I mean, because 10 million people or 20 million people, whatever it was, from Japan watched that series because of Shohei, and they got to see this Savage kid, and they got to see this Vladdy guy.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Jays could really showcase and sell a few jerseys. You know what I mean? They could increase their global reach.
Yeah.
Not to the extent that the Dodgers do, but it'd be something, right?
Yeah.
And as you said, it could be pretty cool to see them rematch in Tokyo.
The second thing that I thought was really cool about this series, and it didn't matter how it went last night, whatever team won, right, would be for the second time ever, a Canadian won the World Series on Canadian soil. Do you know who the first one was?
Rob Schneider.
Rob Butler.
Rob Butler, yeah.
Rob Butler, 93.
Yeah.
93, Canadian kid, played a bit of a
utility
role player, got 2 hits or something in the World Series in 93.
Fielder's choice, and he got a hit, and he scored a run.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Remember it clearly.
In 93 for the Blue Jays. And then Freddie Freeman, good Canadian kid, plays for the Canadian team, World Baseball Classic. He was able to hoist the trophy on Canadian soil, which it's interesting because you talk to him and about being from his parents being from Canada. Both his parents worked in politics, ambassadors of some sort from Canada in California. They met in Canada, moved to California, had him in California. So he's never really lived in Canada, but his mom is from the Toronto area. So when he goes to play in Toronto, he says he feels closer to family there.
His mom passed away when he was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And he always says, whenever I come here, I just feel close to my mom.
So, and last night he was able to win it. We say goodbye to 2 of the greatest pitchers of all times. Last night, Max Scherzer, Crazy Max.
Mad Max.
And the heart of the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. I mean, I love the fact that, Max got out there and started a game. Kershaw came in that game 3, the 18-inning game, and got an out that they needed to keep the game going. Both of them got an opportunity in there. I was hoping that if the Dodgers got up early, that Kershaw would get out and pitch an inning. Yeah. Or if they were up, maybe he could be the last pitcher out there, in his last season. It didn't get to that point, so he didn't get the opportunity, but he was ready to go.
Yeah.
He was ready to go. So I said this earlier, me and Tim were talking earlier, and I said, and I heard it on the pregame show. If the Blue Jays lost last night, which they did, if they did, there's nothing to hang your head about, nothing to be sad about, because they just got there. And they have done something this year to build off of. Yeah. And like you said,
2 components. They got to get both. They got another pitcher, but yeah.
But with what they did, they bring the eyes not only of the spectators, but the other players who are going into free agency. They're looking for a place to go that have a building block towards winning. As a competitor, you always want to win. So when a team is a free agent or has an option or whatnot, has the ability to go somewhere, they always look at what the options are to win. You get some that look at the paycheck, like the guy that went to the Mets last year.
You asked Juan Soto how much he likes his contract with the Mets right now. Because Jays offered him a contract. They tried to sign Soto. Yeah. And now he's stuck in New York.
Yeah. But to be fair, the Mets were there last year, and they got knocked out in the divisional series against the Dodgers. Yeah. But you look at but these players that are going to have free agency, they're going to have the ability to choose where they go, are going to look at the Jays more positively after that run. The Jays are going to grow from here. They will be back next year in the playoffs. They're going to make some noise in the playoffs again. Will they have a run like they had this year? They played on a lot of emotion, right? Yeah. So win or lose last night, the season's a success for the Jays.
It is.
The Dodgers, on the other hand, were built for this. and winning was the only option for them. And they came in, and a lot of people say they looked like robots. They were very methodical. They were business.
Yeah.
This is what they were built to do. This is how they went about it. They didn't give up. They had 2 outs left in the game, and they're trailing by 1. All they had to do, Miguel Rojas swings at a couple of bad pitches, and Shohei goes up and just mails it in. Game over, series over, they lost.
Yeah.
They couldn't let that happen. They had to scrap with every ounce of their being.
Great teams figure it out regardless.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
They also said on that pregame show, when emotion and talent are facing each other, talent will always rise above.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that the Jays don't have talent, but they were playing on a lot of emotion because they weren't thought to have been there.
Yeah.
Nobody thought they were going to be there. Everybody knew the Dodgers were there. They had to work on their talent. They couldn't get overly emotional. They couldn't get too high. They couldn't get too low. They won some, they lost some, but they had to stay methodical and be the talent that they are to get where they wanted to go.
And the Jays did the same thing in '93 after coming back from
100%.
'92.
Yeah, 100%.
They were just, it was business.
Yeah.
The last out for the clinching the division or the season.
Yeah.
John Olrud catches the fly ball and he wanders over to the mound and he shakes Dwayne Ward's hand like a big smile on his face. They weren't celebrating.
Yeah.
They knew it. Just having been there before, you don't get too high after winning the pennant because you know what's coming up.
Yeah.
Whereas Toronto, they had something to celebrate, and I'm glad they celebrated the way they did.
Yeah.
I'm glad they had that nightclub in the Rogers Center, with all the champagne and the disco ball and all that, because honestly, they deserved it.
Yeah.
And you know what? God love them. You'll never know if you're ever here again. So just enjoy it.
Well, and they were
Just
tight.
enjoy it.
I mean,
yeah.
you saw Ernie Clement. I was watching the interviews an hour later,
Yeah.
and he's still crying. I've been crying for an hour because I love these guys. We got so close. We got so tight. And on the flip side of it, they wanted to do it for everybody. And now we're going to bring up a point that I may even tear up a little bit here. One of my favorite Dodgers, because he's such a solid middle reliever, couldn't be there for the World Series.
Yeah.
Family issues. And the Dodgers honored him by putting the 51 on their hat, right, for Alex Vesia. Couldn't be there. In the later stages of the series, Kiki Hernandez looks up at a replay of him getting struck out by Chris Bassett. He's like, did Bassett ever play with Vesia? Like, he's got the 51 on his hat.
Yeah.
And they said something in the dugout, and they all started watching. And all the Jays players had the 51 on
All the
their
guys
hat.
in the dugout, all the relievers.
And
yeah.
sometimes things are bigger than the game.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter you get $500 million, $700 million, $300 million
Yeah.
to play this game. Some things are bigger than the game. And that's the family that they create out there on the field. You don't see it on the TV broadcast, but you might see a clip here or there. But like Shohei gets to first base, and him and Vladdy are joking, they're hugging, they're talking, because these guys know what it takes to get to that point. They're the only people that know what it takes to get to that point.
And they played in a couple of All-Star games together and just became buds.
Yeah.
Shohei's doing an interview and Vladdy's behind him, mugging around doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really touching moment. Like, it's bigger than baseball. John Schneider said, thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
And he goes, you have to understand, like, they didn't just support each other as teammates. It was their wives, their kids. Everybody cared about everything on that team. And Ernie Clement's like, I love coming here every single day. I'll never get this feeling again.
That's what they're most upset about, they said. The
Yeah.
most thing they're upset about is not being around the guys.
Yeah.
Today, they stop.
Yeah.
And it's been the last 7-8 months that every day they were in the building together. They're working together.
Yeah.
They,
Unlikely friendships, an unlikely band of guys that came together.
Shane Bieber's been there, a month?
Yeah.
And he's crying because they said they accepted me with open arms. They've supported me the whole time. He goes, it was a family. It was one of the best group of guys I've ever been around in my life.
And he said, I think, was it Shane Bieber or one of the other guys they traded for, talking to his wife? Yeah, it was Shane Bieber. They don't know anything about Toronto. He'd been there, his wife didn't know. Because I couldn't believe how great it was.
Yeah.
The support they got with their kids and his wife coming over.
Yeah.
It's like, this is amazing. I just love it here. Like, they're so nice.
Yeah.
And all the fans. I mean, Andre Jimenez walks to the park every day. Yeah. And people are like, hey, go get him. He goes, everyone just supported you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times when you get that stardom and you're in a big city, you just get swarmed all the time. And, you get people wanting your autograph and bugging you and this, that, and the other thing. A lot of times that's why French Canadian players don't like playing in Montreal. Vinny Lecavalier would go home for a week, stay at his sister's house, never go outside and get the hell out. He couldn't go anywhere. They swarmed him. He couldn't go anywhere. But with Toronto, I remember running into Jay's guys in the 92, 93. I shook Tony Fernandez's hand.
Yeah.
And people, we just give them space.
Yeah.
Hey, they're there. Hey, look, he's over there. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And you leave him alone, right?
Yeah.
You don't get that in a lot of cities. And, it's pretty nice, but I wish they'd won.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Yeah.
11 innings. A fight.
11 innings. Wow.
A fight. Catches, home runs. Like, oh my God.
And in your seat, like you couldn't sit down. It was so crazy. I mean, Friday night was crazy.
Yeah.
Friday night was wild. But I had a feeling, the best player on both teams throughout the whole series was Yamamoto.
Oh, easily. Machine.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
And the fact that he pitched in game 2 and then went down and warmed up during the 18th inning in game 3 to come out and pitch in the 19th.
Yeah.
Right? Because his team may need him. And then he goes out there and he pitches Friday night and just puts on a clinic on Friday, 7 innings or something stupid like that before they pull him to keep him fresh, just in case they needed him last night, which they did. And he pitched 3 scoreless innings there. Like the guy, unbelievable.
That's why the Jays wanted him. He went with the Dodgers. God love him. He made the right choice.
And if you flip that, Shohei and Yamamoto go to the Jays instead of the Dodgers, do we still see this?
Yeah, I don't think we do. No, we don't.
But it was great.
My
friend, great battle.
Thank you.
Let's do it again next year.
Off season, I want them to sign Bo.
Yeah.
And I want them to get rid of George Springer. He's just too banged up. And I want them to bring in Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
Just get that power. And a shortstop, they got kids from the farm that can bring up. Jimenez, he's a number 9 hitter, so he's there for his glove.
Yeah.
Maybe he sticks around, but sign Eric Lauer, maybe get Shane Bieber. And they can come back because the core of the team, the infield, again, like I said, Vladdy, Bo, and Clement, 3 Gold Glovers that can hit. And that you don't find that with 3 guys in the infield very often. Outfielders are kind of a dime a dozen. There's lots of them, but they still got Addison Barger can hit. Varsho has his moments. And they can always find another guy out for left field.
Yeah.
Right? So, and then the pitching staff, and there's, the bullpen, they have to make the decisions. Varland, they'll bring back for sure.
Yeah.
Chris Bassett wants to come back. We'll see. He's 36.
Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman, they got him for a while.
We need middle relievers.
Yeah.
We need middle relievers. We need them to get Sasaki focused on being a closer. He really showed that he could do that. And somebody just needs to teach Pages how to hit. Yeah. The guy was 4 for 51.
You know what? And that happens. I mean, Andre Dawson was one of my favorite players growing up. Did nothing in the postseason.
Yeah.
Hank Greenberg, Ted Williams.
4 for 51.
Ted Williams did nothing in the postseason.
Yeah, I know.
It just happens. Sometimes guys get hot, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
First time the Jays won it, their number 9 hitter, Pat Borders, hit 450 and won them the series.
Yeah.
Number 9 hitter, right? Like sometimes it just happens. So
yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
Thank you very much for the Dodgers. Thank you for Toronto.
What a great series.
Amazing series. We'll be talking about this forever. And hey, there's always next year. Go Habs. That's where I'm worried about from now on.
And the really cool thing is on Thursday, I'm going to be in Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be in Los Angeles on Thursday.
That's so awesome.
I'll get you a shirt.
I'm leaving.
No, come on, let's finish it off.
I'm leaving.
Comment, like, subscribe.
You do it. I don't want to talk anymore.
Our scrappy little podcast. This has been a great series.
We always go
off topic.
There we go.